On October 19, 2025, around 9:30 a.m., in the heart of Paris has taken place possibly the heist of the century at the world's most visited museum, the Louvre. The Louvre was originally built around 1190 by King Philip II as a palace to protect from any invaders before being turned into a museum after the French Revolution. This museum made from a palace holds a very deep and significant history for France, and that's before we get into the most renowned pieces of art on display at the Louvre, such as the Mona Lisa, Liberty of the People, Venus de Milo. This is one of, if not the world's most famous museum. It's in a very old video game, The Messenger, and in a Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow. So with this heist happening in broad daylight, it has a lot of people talking and wondering how all of it was pulled off. So this is still very new and the information is still coming out, but with everything I've seen so far, this is what seems to have happened. It's 9 a.m, the doors at the Louvre just open, allowing tourists and visitors to come to the museum. The day begins as normal, everyone at their posts, and people begin admiring the artworks. Around 9:30, a group of 3 to 4 men drive a basket lift to the scene side of the building. They hop out wearing yellow worker vests and put orange cones around the vehicle. They use the basket lift to reach a balcony on the second level. Using the angle cutter, they cut out the bottom section of the window, allowing them to gain entry into the Apollo Gallery. It's unsure what took place from this point on, but it seems that they made their way to the display cases and used a mini saw to cut them open. They seem to target Napoleonic and royal jewels, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but there's also a video that alleged to have shown the thief in action. It's unclear if there were any alarms that were triggered or if the security measures malfunctioned, but we know that the heist took around 4 to 7 minutes, and they retrieved 9 different artifacts leaving the same way they came in. However, when they went for their escape, one of the stolen crowns fell off the balcony and onto the street, sadly taking damage, but was recovered. The heistmen went down the basket lift and tried to set their truck on fire, apparently, but failed and escaped via scooters or motorcycles, one of which was located later on. As of now, there's no suspects and the investigation is still developing. They left behind the truck, the saws, one of the crowns, and a vest. The museum was promptly evacuated and shut down for the rest of the day. Now, there's a few things I want to bring to light about the museum. For starters, on June 16th earlier this year, there was a staff walkout protest due to the over-tourism at the Louvre Museum. In short, they spoke about security concerns, overcrowding, and chronic understaffing. Even after the 30,000 a day limit, they're still finding issues being able to properly monitor and secure the entirety of the museum. I think it would be clear to anyone that if you have a museum that holds valuable things like what was stolen, the security and staff have to be on top of everything. But it's so incredibly big that it's difficult with only about 1 to 3,000 workers, and that might be generous, but I can't really find an exact number. If you look at some of these tours on YouTube, you could see the absolute scale of this museum. It's huge. Early on, the Mona Lisa was stolen, but that was well covered already. We've seen a lack of security with previous protests, like in 2024, they threw a soup at the Mona Lisa because of the trending oil protests. And my favorite was the sheep protest in 2014 due to the farming policy disagreements, but that had less to do with the museum and more policies from the UN. Nevertheless, concerns about the security at the Louvre have been around for a while, and it seems that things have only gotten worse, which is what may have opened up the Louvre to being robbed in the first place. The items stolen are priceless, and they have heavy historical value to the French, meaning selling them would be hard, so who would even want to steal these? Now, from this point, it's kind of just from what I know so far, and also like how I was looking at it. So from Arthur Brand, a Dutch art crime investigator, he mentioned that these people are probably career criminals in a French database. Pretty much not their first rodeo, even though the heist seems pretty simple. He is optimistic about the capture of the thieves, but he's worried about actually retrieving the jewels themselves, since the thieves would want to get rid of it quickly. The things they store are very unlikely to be bought outright in the black market. I feel it'd be too hot of an item or simply too expensive, since these things are incredibly valuable. So they'd either need to cut up the entirety of their jewels, melt down whatever metals and fence it off for a hefty price, but there are thousands of diamonds on these, maybe a few hundred emeralds. The exact number is unclear, but we know cutting and fencing would take a while. The police are said to be out in full force, so the chance of the people getting caught and the items recovered is still possible. I was thinking, since they're Napoleon and royal jewels, like the risk seems not worth it unless you already wanted these art pieces, which people are willing to pay a large amount for. So looking into it, it seemed like some other people had some similar ideas about it being almost personal. Like in my head, I think somebody who maybe has like a history against Napoleon or like the French royal family. Some people say Elon Musk is behind it because of his interest in Napoleon tactics. I'm not here to make claims. I mean, I'm a dude who makes videos.
But when I do,
I would say it's some filthy rich person or a world leader who funded the heist. If not, it really is some lower criminal who really took an opportunity and planned it out after like over a year or something. With the next part, this is what I think, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. The truck appears to be a Mitsubishi Fuso Canter with a blue lift structure. Brand new, these things can go for like 60 to 130,000 for this equipment. If it was used, which is more likely, it's around 30,000 to get this equipment before adding any uniforms and extra supplies needed like the angle cutters. That's close to a French citizen's yearly income, around 34,000 USD. So they either plan this for a long time or just have good money, or someone pays for the equipment, everything they need, including a getaway vehicle or safe houses. They do their heist, lay low for a sec, and go to an already fixed buyer who is incredibly well off. Again, this is me brainstorming what may have happened and just theories, but it's a rich person who planned this because of their liking or fascination for Napoleon or the French royal family. I just can't prove it yet. I'm sure the French have the best on the case, and I'll do an updated video once more information comes out or if there's a breakthrough. But the jewels that were stolen, like I said, 8 were taken, but 1 was recovered just damaged. The first set is a tiara necklace and earrings from the Queen Maria Amelia. The necklace and earrings from the Maria Louis set, made as a wedding gift by Napoleon in 1810. She witnessed the fall of the empire and is most well known for her achievements as the Duchess of Parma, who mainly focused on improving the lives of ordinary people and had a love for the arts. Made by Paul Alfred Baptist for the Empress to represent her strong Catholic faith, and her crown both being gifted to her at the Position Universelle, which is like a world fair of sorts. This crown was the one dropped out the balcony and onto the street. Like I mentioned, it was recovered but damaged. They also took the tiara, which was ordered to be made by Napoleon III for their wedding in 1853. Empress is known for her trends in the fashion world at the time and had a big influence on luxury fashion. So these pieces are a part of history and they're in the wind now. Hopefully the Louvre is able to retrieve them. If not, I think this may be the wake-up call the workers at the Louvre were protesting about earlier this year. But hopefully you liked the video. Drink some water. Bye.